What's up, everybody? Alex Press Play here, and yes, it is here. It is finally here. My first vlog. Not only that, but I wanted to make it a big one. So what I did, I reviewed the Zhiyun Crane 2 with my Canon C200. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know this is my first venture, so any sort of love, any sort of comments, any sort of feedback I can get, I'd really appreciate it. I don't want to waste too much time because we have kind of a long review. I really wanted to kind of do an extensive test with the C200 and the Zhiyun Crane 2 because I've seen a lot of things online where people just don't cover it completely. I just wanted to pack this full of footage. I wanted to put the C200 on the Zhiyun Crane 2, see how it balanced, and just get a bunch of footage, a bunch of small movements, walking shots, and even some running shots to see how everything holds up. So what we did is we went down to Washington, D.C. and down into Georgetown by the waterfront, and it was so hot. I think the heat index for the day was 105 degrees. It was nuts. Like, we were literally sweating. It was dangerously hot, but we ran around, we got all this stuff done. This test is all about how I would use this in practical applications. So a lot of people will complain. They say, oh, well, you shot it in slow motion. Anything on the gimbal looks good in slow motion. It's so forgiving. That's true. People say, oh, you use warp stabilization on that. I mean, it makes it look better, but what does it look like without it? Okay, good point. Oh, we want to see what it looks like, you know, raw, untouched. Are you really not doing anything to it? Okay, got it. We touch on all that. And I show you the shots of me actually shooting it so you know everything is legit. So we have shots of it, uncolor graded, shots of it color graded with no warp stabilization, and shots color graded and warp stabilized to make things even smoother. And I think this was really important to note because, you know, a gimbal, you know, can get you, if it can get you 95% of the way there, that's huge. And if everything is really, really smooth, there's just really subtle bumps, and you throw warp stabilization on it, and it just cleans it right up, and there's no you know, jello effect or that kind of wave effect, then that's amazing. So I wanted to do some of that, and you'll see it's amazing with and without it. So, and even on things that are kind of crazier, it actually works really well with it. So I'm just going to kind of let this play. We went down, like I said, to Georgetown. We shot all this content, so enjoy. Apparently these batteries last, I think they say 12 hours, which will be a full shoot day, which is awesome. And especially because they're so small and lightweight, it's a big help. This is great because it's a little built-in tripod. Because dealing with like Ronin M's and stuff like that, you literally have to carry the unit that carries the gimbal, which is annoying because if you want to kind of run and gun and go, you don't really want to be carrying the thing that just holds your device, especially when you have a backpack and you're wheeling a bag like I always do. So with this, it's built right in. So that is a huge, huge thing. One thing to note is I did get the gravity plate. It's the longer version of this bottom plate so that I can actually hold like 1DX Mark IIs and C200s. So you will need to replace the smaller one with the bigger one. And that's really it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use a Pancake Lens because a lot of people were like, oh, I wonder what it's like with a Pancake Lens. And I saw a guy do a test with just the body cap because he didn't have a Pancake Lens. Well, we have one, 24 mil. We're gonna put it right on there because this is an easy, really lightweight option that everyone can get. I think this lens cost me like 150 bucks. So we're gonna put that on there and do the test right. So we're semi-balanced, that was pretty quick. Let's turn it on and let's see. Now I didn't attach the monitor. The monitor cable comes right out of here. Doesn't really add a lot of weight. I have a little adapter here that screws here, and I can put the monitor on the stick here. So it won't actually add weight to here. It may add a little bit just because the cable's on it, but let's first see if this balances and what we got. All right, it's on, it's pretty balanced. So now we're gonna turn the gimbal on, see how it does. Looks really good. Now, if it was really messed up, you know, you would get a lot of shake. The camera would vibrate because the motors would be working too hard. One thing to note too is turn the motors to high. You can do low, medium, or high. If you're doing something like a C200 or a 1DX Mark II, put them on high so the motors are working as hard as they can. So let's see. Lift it up. We can tilt up. We can tilt down. So it seems to be pretty well balanced for such a heavy camera. And again, that's that 24mm Pancake lens. Now this is tapping just a little bit right here. So I probably want to move the gravity plate up just a little bit to give me that extra room. But even as it is right now, as far as walking shots, seems pretty good. So next step is, unlike a lot of other reviews, we're going to show you some footage. Okay. Now we're just going to put on the little 1/4-inch screw adapter. You can get this, I think it's like 19 bucks. Clips right on the very bottom part of this. Screws on right here. This would be my, I think, solution for the C200. I've seen guys try to balance it on the handle, which just adds weight on an awkward spot. Putting it on the top adds more weight. I kind of like it down and out of the way. I just think you're just giving the motors, you know, less to have to handle. And what you do is just take your C200 monitor, pull off the little mounting point here, and just mount this. This is all included with the C200. And just turn out, no, this way, Elliot. And you can just mount it on one of these points. So it's about 10 degrees hotter. We're all sweating, but I got the Canon monitor on the gimbal, into the cable, balanced it, same way I did before. And so we're gonna see if it holds up, how it is. I didn't do a super great job mounting it, but we can see it, you can see how it can work. So let's turn it on and let's try it out. It's on. Looks pretty good. Let's try it. So I want to give a big shout out to the crew that helped me out that day. My good buddy Elliot and my good buddy Dez, both are in this band called Good Tiger. So after we were done shooting and we were sweating our asses off, we decided we wanted to go in and get some AC. Elliot and Dez are actually working on a acoustic EP for Good Tiger. So I hopped into Dez's studio. Elliot was doing some vocal production for that EP, and I decided to, see what it would be like to use in a practical application in such a small room. And I decided to do a little pseudo interview, which was just really short and sweet, just to kind of use for a demo, and use the gimbal as a slider and on the interview to show you kind of what that would be like. And for this, I put a little Sony A6300, I believe it was, on the gimbal, which was Dez's camera, and the C200 was the main camera, straight on. And then I did a bunch of B-roll shots with the C200 on the gimbal. Anything B-roll wise you see is a C200 on the gimbal. I think there's a couple handhelds, but most of the pull-in, you'll see the push-in and pull-in stuff is on the gimbal with the C200 for some B-roll. So we didn't bring any lights. This wasn't, a planned for shoot or setup. So we just threw up a light in the corner and I just kind of let it roll. So you can check it out. It's nothing fancy, but I think it's cool to see how you can use it in practical applications and how well the gimbal did in this small room on these different kind of movements.
When we were working on We Will All Be Gone, we stripped down a few of the songs we were working on and did acoustic versions of them, just kind of messing around, and we were like, this sounds actually really nice. I don't know how well some songs always translate to acoustic, but these seem to work out pretty good. I'm not normally a big fan of rock songs being stripped down to acoustic versions. I kind of like when they just stay rock songs, but I was really surprised and really, really happy with how Salt of the Earth came out. One thing I was really, really looking forward to was the voice manipulation. I kind of always wanted to hear how my voice would sound as an instrument rather than just on top of the music. I think some of these instrumentals are so beautiful, I wouldn't want to sing over it. It's a short and sweet project, but was really excited working on it, hearing the remixes that we got back for it, and I'm really excited for everybody to hear it.
After all that, I gotta say, I love the Zhiyun Crane 2 with my C200. It did a phenomenal job. Now you may say it was really bumpy when you were running, but I mean, you're asking it to do a whole lot of work with a heavy camera on a single gimbal while you're, jogging, holding it with one hand. So the fact that warp stabilization kind of made up for that and did such a good job that it got it far enough to where you can just drop it in the post, put that on there, and it looked, I thought, really, really good. If I was doing a commercial or a short web thing and I needed someone to run real fast, I could put warp stabilizer on it and get that smooth of a shot. I think the client would be happy and I'd be really happy. So that's the most extreme scenario. As far as walking situations are concerned, which is probably what I'd use it most for, and little micro movements, interviews, or just doing little push-ins and push-outs, it killed it. It was awesome. I had no problems. You have to keep it balanced. It can be a little tough. Sometimes you'll get little vibrations, but when you get the camera right, it'll be steady and it'll work really, really well. The one note, I didn't get into how the app works, but if the app had an auto calibrate mode like the DJI Ronin stuff has, it would be such a godsend, because you can get it all the way there. You can't do where you flip the camera all the way back. You can't do that test on the Zhiyun Crane 2 because the viewfinder gets knocked. So to get it as close as you can get it and have the app do the work to finish it for you and let you know how close you got, because with the DJI stuff, it'll say, oh, hey, your roll is good, not excellent, and you can actually adjust that without having to do that. So little things like that can be a really big help on Zhiyun's part, just to make that really intuitive. I think the app could be way more simplified, and again, a calibrate mode on there when the camera's on it would be such a help. I think that would just make it perfect. But this thing is awesome. I really don't see any reason why not to go with this. It's awesome. It passed every test in my book. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. If you like any of the music at the end of the video, that is the band Good Tiger. I want to thank my good buddies Elliot and Dez for coming and help me shoot and for letting me film them in the studio. This is the kind of stuff that I want to do. These are the vlogs I'm going to be putting out. This was the first of many. So if you like what you saw, if you want to see more gear things like this, I'll be talking about C200. You know, more products, Blackmagic design stuff, Rode stuff, what I use, shooting techniques, lenses, things like that. If that interests you, you know, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you want to see more daily stuff, my Instagram page is very active at AlexPressPlay. Be easy on me in the comments. Anything you like, let me know. Anything you didn't like, let me know. If you're a C200 user, you know, what you thought of this. If you have the Zhiyun Crane 2, what you think of this. I'm really excited to get more involved and kind of do more of these and get back in the community because I watch so many of these, so I kind of want to do the same thing for everybody else. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.